Welcome to the messy middle of entrepreneurship, unfiltered and unapologetic. Uncensored Entrepreneurs, hosted by Starr, Robert Wall, and Tina Torres Wilson, brings you real stories from the trenches of building a business. Those late nights, hard lessons, big wins, and everything in between. This is where the truth about entrepreneurship lives. No fluff, no filters, just raw, honest conversations with founders who have lived it. So, if you're over the highlight reel and you're ready for the real deal, hit play.
Today's guest is Kelly Price, is the founder of Thrive HR and a seasoned people leader with experience that stretches from Marriott International all the way to the VP level in corporate HR. Her career path started in hospitality and led her to discover a gift for making work actually work for people and not just profits. She's hired, led, trained, and rebuilt teams through every phase of growth and cultural chaos. And now she brings that wisdom to small businesses that want to grow without burning out their people or themselves. I think we all need that, right? If you've ever felt that leading a team is the hardest part of your job, you're not alone. Kelly's here to make it a whole lot easier and a whole lot more human. Welcome, Kelly Price.
Thank you so much. I love that intro. Thank you. Glad to be here. We're so excited to have you.
Starr, can you believe that we are going on, was it 4 years?
I think sometime this year we'll make 4 years, and no, I can't believe it.
May 1st is 4 years doing the Uncensored Entrepreneur. Well, we are missing our handsome work husband. He is stuck at home with strep throat. His wife is loving it that he can't talk. We are sending prayers your way, Robert. We love you and we hope you feel better. But I'm so excited. Starr, Happy New Year.
Yes, I'm so excited for the new year. So unfortunately, Robert's sick. We send him healing vibes, and I hope you feel well soon. So our audience does miss you. We know this already. But yeah, I'm so excited for the new year. I actually kicked off 2025 with a bang. I was really excited at the end of 2025, entering to 2026, because you see, everyone is just dying down at the end of the year. And I was like, no, I'm going to start 2026 with a bang. So I ended 2025 really just putting everything forward. And I'm excited for this year. 2025 was very challenging for so many people. I'm not sure if they heard that from some of your clients, Kelly, but we're excited for the new year.
What about you, Kelly? Have you heard that from clients? It was a challenging year.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And even for my own business, it was a challenging year. It was a weird year.
It's almost like 2020. You know how 2020, we all had to pivot, like a huge pivot. I feel like 2025 was a huge pivot.
I agree. And I share the 2026 4-year anniversary. So it's a good year to turn 4. Yes. The biggest things in the last year that I saw really were totally debilitating fear in human decision making and in business, especially at the beginning of the year. I mean, anybody that owns a small business, I think, can relate to the fact that the first quarter and even the second was like awful. I mean, just terrible.
We just couldn't make decisions, especially like high ticket items or high ticket coaching program. They could not make decisions and they could not say, yes, I'm ready.
Absolutely. The second half of the year kicked in and things started to roll a little bit, which was much better. And I think I saw from a leadership standpoint, debilitating fear to say the wrong thing. Huge thing with managers.
Perfectionism.
Well, yes, but it was also a lot more than that. It was a fear of offending someone or saying the wrong thing because they're just going to get into
Political, spiritual.
Yes. So I had a lot of conversations with leaders last year, like, why are you pretending like this issue isn't happening? Have you talked to them? Well, no. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why?
I don't stay away from the spiritual aspect. I let everybody know I'm a Jesus lover, but stay away from political stuff. You'll lose half your clients.
Some people are like wanting to really get out there and be really strong about what it is that they're representing. And for them, it may work, but for others, I respect everyone's decision. And so I'm not here to persuade anyone. From a financial impact in terms of people spending, that was also a problem that I noticed as well. Even with my e-commerce store, I saw people not purchasing as much. And as you mentioned, Kelly, those first 2 quarters, and now we're picking back up again. And it was just the fear of don't spend your money right now, save your money. Groceries are going up. And you can see that in their buying process and their purchasing decisions as well. So I thought that that was very, very interesting. And we also had to deal with tariffs for importing because we import products, and I had to raise the price of my products to reflect that. And so there's a lot of transitions happening for many, many businesses. But Kelly, we're so excited to have you here. So we want to talk about you. And I want to find out a little bit about how you got into hospitality and HR. Did you do them at the same time, or those different ventures that you got into while in corporate? And then what led you here today?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm 47. I feel like I've lived, like most of us my age, at least 3 or 4 lives, right? So after high school, I was really into psychology. I did an independent study. It was totally my jam. I was going to be some sort of a therapist. And my independent study teacher in high school was like, please don't give up. I can see how passionate you are about this. You're going to hate the coursework. And so I'm like, okay, no problem. I get in there. I hate the coursework. And I'm like, forget this. This is terrible. I hate it. I don't want to do this. And a girlfriend of mine, to be honest, was in hospitality, and she started talking to me about it. And I've always had a passion for travel and a passion for serving others. I mean, my first job was in a grocery store. It just always working around people, and always ended up in leadership positions, whether that was in student council or cheerleading or any of those things. I always ended up doing that. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to try this.
Fellow cheerleader here.
Yes, girl. So I ended up going into hospitality and totally loved it. It was so much fun and got to travel. And when you're interviewing with Marriott, they say, give me a list of the 3 places you want to move. And so you got to list those things out. And I had a girlfriend who took a position at the Maui Marriott, and I ended up in Dallas. I mean, it was awesome. I loved hospitality. I lived in Dallas, Fort Worth. I lived in Miami, and then I ended up coming back to Kansas City, and didn't love my position as much when I got back to Kansas City, where I was from, because my family was there, my friends were there. I was working weekends and nights, and it just not a good fit for what I was wanting for my life going forward. So I started looking, and I ended up landing a recruiting job. And it was with the staffing company. And again, I felt that service aspect and helping people find value in their lives and provide for their families. And the office we were in had not made money for years. So it was an interesting position because the expectations weren't very high. But my leader was like, come on, let's crank for this. And I'll never forget the first month we made $4. And she came bursting through the doors and said, we're profitable by $4, but we did it. And I'm like, yes. So that just kind of excited the need to grow and develop and do better. And we continued to grow, and that office became very successful. And then, as many people in staffing do, you end up in corporate HR. And then I went into corporate HR, ended up in leadership, went to a startup company. There were 11 of us when I got there in the home office, and about 200 in the field. And when I left, I was the VP of HR after 8 years. I had 17 people on my HR team because we had a huge recruiting team, and about 75 in the home office, and about 800 in the field, and 30 locations. So long story long, they ended up mushing together because I realized when you take psychology and hospitality and put it together, you get human resources, because you have to be able to understand how people work to be able to help them be more successful. And it lies well with the service aspect. I love making hard things easier. And in small business specifically, human resources is almost a bad word. It's like, oh, I'll deal with that when I have to. And many people don't realize. I just talked to a girlfriend of mine who owns this super cool company that is trying to get music back into the schools that the budget's been cut from. And she has 20 employees. And she was like, I know I'm going to need you, but when do I need you? And I'm like,
Now,
Last year.
when I say it's time. let's make the jump. Let's start having conversations, especially if you're going to grow. I mean, it's like build the foundation of the house so it doesn't fall down and you don't have to rebuild it.
Exactly.
That's when I felt the need. I had 17 employees and I ended up hiring an HR company. I was like, okay, there are just certain things that you can be sued for, and employees are giving you trouble and you're not documenting conversations. And it just really teaches you so much. And also, it just helps you to have everything in place to deal with people having to take a leave of absence. And these are things that when you only have 2 or 3 employees, you can manage. But as you grow, it becomes a lot. So I'm so glad that you are here to talk to our audience about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in cities and states, the laws are different. So you say Washington and then you say Seattle, or you say New York and then you say Manhattan, even Kansas City inside of Missouri is different laws. So it's a little scary.
California is very strict. I'm in California.
So, Kelly, most founders didn't start their business to be managers. What do you wish more entrepreneurs understood about the leadership aspect of owning a business?
Oh my goodness. I would say one thing that always sticks out to me is the quote from Remember the Titans, attitude reflects leadership. So if you want people to be motivated and excited and positive and kind and respectful, you have to be that way to them. And I think being authentic and admitting that you don't know everything, it's so easy to do that, but for some reason, people cannot, especially when you're in a founder or CEO position, or you really want to seem like the expert. Saying, I don't know, or what do you think I should do is not unacceptable. So, those two things. And that's really where my passion is. I say quite often that the founders I want to work with are the people that are really excited and talented and have this incredible passion for whatever they're doing, selling or making or servicing. And they're so wonderful at it that their business grew and they got employees and they don't know what to do with them. So that's where an HR partner comes in, because you can say, okay, let me help you. Let me be the expert and guide you. And you can tell me what your business strategy is. And then I can tell you what your HR and people strategy should be to accomplish those goals. And really to help them understand that if you don't have a people strategy, you're not going to have a business strategy for very long. You're going to need one for very long.
My husband just recently got a new job in the insurance industry, and I spoke to his boss at Christmas time, and she was like, his energy and the way he is and brings to the office every day is one of the main reasons why we hired him, because we needed that piece. We are missing that piece of the puzzle in the office. She goes, he is talented and doing this, this, and that, but we needed that energy, that piece of happiness and positivity in the office. She goes, and his energy just brings it in there. So I think having that whole puzzle piece where you're bringing it, okay, you would be great for this, but your personality is right here too. And that way everybody meshes together well.
Yeah. And knowing when to bring that in is huge, because there are lots of people who are sons and daughters of founders and they don't necessarily have the passion, but it's what they're doing. Or their personality isn't bubbly and sparkly, but that doesn't make them not incredible business leaders and talented and knowing when to bring in the person who can be the leader and say, you know what, I'm just going to be the founder. I'm going to be the CEO and I will talk to my people. But this guy over here or gal over here is really going to be the face of the employees because they're better at it than I am. That's okay. It's actually great.
We hope you're enjoying this conversation as much as we are. One thing we've learned through building our own businesses and from the stories we hear on this podcast is that podcasting can be one of the most powerful tools for growth, but only when it's done strategically. That's why we're such fans of So True. It's a podcast strategy and production agency that helps entrepreneurs create shows that lead to real results, audience growth, aligned leads, and increased sales. So, if you're thinking about starting a podcast or you want to get better results from the one that you already have, check them out at sotruemedia.com. That's sotruemedia.com. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
The right piece to your puzzle. 4 years ago, when I had the idea of Uncensored Entrepreneurs, I immediately thought of Starr and I immediately thought of Robert to come on because they both bring so many different aspects. And Starr, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I remember you telling me, I'm not the kind of person who just brings all the energy. I said, no, but I love what you bring to the table. No, you're an amazing person and you balance because Robert and I are very high energy. And she brings in that right kind of energy to level us all out.
Yes, you have the calm confidence.
Thank you, Kelly. So, Kelly, can you tell us about a moment in corporate that actually changed your perspective and view on leadership going forward?
Could tell you about a lot of moments like that. Do you have any wine? I will tell you the moment that I knew I had to leave a company because I had been fighting and fighting and fighting, literally, to get somebody to do the right thing. And COO that I worked with was very difficult. She insisted that we did the best place to work survey, which the other executives and I told her was a joke, frankly. This is a joke. We shouldn't do it. It's going to be embarrassing. You don't care what they say anyway. I'm jumping and screaming in your office. I'm being real transparent here, but you don't care. And she's like, no, let's do it. We offer Coke and we bring in food. And I'm like, no one gives a shit about that. You treat them like crap. But okay, let's do it since you insist. And we didn't pay for it either. So we didn't get all of the results. We only got the highlights. And I got the result. I got a super negative comment on there. It said the COO is a complete racist and the VP of HR does nothing about it. And even saying it out loud right now just makes me sick. And you know how many years ago this was? I mean, we're pushing 10 years. I was so mad and so upset that someone had that view of what was going on, which could not be further from accurate. And I took it to my CEO and I put it on her desk and I said, this, what are we going to do about this? And she said, I guess you should go talk to her about that. And I was like, I'm done. I'm out. So I quit pretty quickly after that. And thank God I had gotten a phone call from a girlfriend who wanted me to go to the bank that I worked at in my last corporate job. And that was just refreshing, wonderful, brought me back to life. Thank God, because that other job killed me. But so disappointing. So yes, that to me really showed a lot of things. But honestly, it just showed you have to know what your limits are and what your boundaries are and who you are as a person and what you're willing to put up with for money. Because frankly, I made a lot of money there and I stayed there for 8 years.
You were taking your integrity. So my husband and I have been at a workplace like that. And him and I both don't work there, obviously no more, but the integrity of the workplace was horrible. You can see people were getting promotions that didn't deserve it, taking that and throwing it in your face. You can see that they weren't promoting women, that they weren't promoting Black people, they weren't promoting Spanish people. And you can see that. And everybody talked about it, but nobody did anything about it. And I remember I did get fired from the job for stupid reason. But when I got fired from that job, I was like, oh my God, my life is over. But God had so much more for me. And my husband last year had to make the choice to leave and he left. And he was like, I cannot stand the integrity no more. The customer service, if you're letting people do this and this and this when they know it's not right. And now he comes home, he's like, oh, this and that. And he has that passion back. The workplace environment, I feel like it needs to have that passion and that positivity and that integrity driven because you're going to make your people work better and harder for you if you do.
Sometimes senior leadership can be a little bit unaware of the thought process that their team beneath them is going through. And now with the social media, the way that TikTok is and all of the other platforms, I've actually seen people complain about corporations where past employees are like, "Oh, yes, I used to work there and this person is this way and this is happening." And so that's causing a lot of change, but it's unfortunate that it takes social media to bring this to light of those CEOs and those C-suite leaders.
Yeah. So I'm Gen X, millennials a little bit, this next gen that's out now. The beautiful thing about that group of people is they don't put up with that at all. There's none of that. They do not deal with it. They're offended very easily.
Very. And they can't keep the job. They're like, I'm out of here 2 weeks later. And you're like,
Yeah, there's good and bad with that, though. I'm focusing on the good right now, Tina, but I do believe we will see change. And the best thing that I did for myself, honestly, was get out of that environment and then go work at this other place and then go do consulting. Because the thing that I always felt when I got into a company for a long time, I also had a child much later in life and blah, 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 blah. So my career was my life, it was what I did. And I put so much value into that I didn't really even think about what was important to me and what I would put up with. And I internalized the success of the business, my department, my people, myself, everything. And as a consultant and running my own business, I take a tremendous amount of pride in myself and what we do and how we do it and who I work with and who my clients are. And I also know what my boundaries are. And if someone says something, I had an opportunity to partner with another firm who wanted to partner with my business. And the owner said something to me on a call that I found to not align with my values. And it made me feel like it would put limitations on the clients that I could work with and the people that I wanted to help make the world a better place for. And I was like, no, I'm out. And that feels good to be able to say that and to be honest with clients too, because I truly believe as a consultant, if you're not being honest with your clients because you're too afraid to tell them the hard thing, then you are not doing your job. So I can tell a client, you're being a real jerk right now, or these are the reasons why people are quitting. It's not like I enjoy doing that, but I also have learned that asking someone permission to tell them something that's hard to hear, I never say, "Can I give you feedback?" Because I find that line, somebody's about to say something that's going to piss you off. As soon as you say, "Can I give you some feedback?" No, you cannot. But if you say, "I need to share something with you that I've noticed," that it's not going to be easy to say and it might not be easy to hear, but I need your permission to tell you. And no one ever says no. And then, yeah, they might get a little bit angry, but they said you could say it. So it's interesting and it's a much better fit. And I feel like I can actually make a difference instead of beating my head against the wall. That was a really long answer. Sorry.
No, we like it. So, do have another question for you. When it comes to small businesses, because we know that you currently work with small businesses now, and HR is just something that a lot of them truly neglect. But how do you help them to create that culture that you were describing when it comes to having a smaller team and maybe even limited resources? Because I think that's what makes them afraid to implement certain things.
Yes, absolutely. I even try to keep the word invest completely out of any marketing because invest equals dollars, right? And the way I mean it, it doesn't. I'm asking you to invest your time and your intentions towards your people. So the first thing that we always do in any engagement is we do an audit because we have to figure out what your baseline is. Do you have your foundation built? Compliance, operational efficiency, and strategy. So we want to find out what's going on first. And then we return a report and say, okay, here's the stuff you need to fix. It's like, you're going to get sued for this. Your life would be a lot easier if you did this. And here is where we align your business strategy and your people strategy so you can actually grow. And a lot of it is just having those conversations and teaching them what that even means. Because they're like, what do you mean aligning my business strategy? Does that mean I need to have a leadership development program or get interns? I'm like, no, none of that stuff. All it means is really have processes and procedures and guidelines and do them consistently and invest your time and training in onboarding to get people in your organization understanding what they're doing and what they're supposed to be doing and who you are as a company and as leaders and what you expect of them and how can they be successful. And that is just you talking to them. That doesn't cost any money. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff if you have money to spend. We can have a ton of fun with that, but you don't have to spend any money really to do that. And then how do you performance manage? How do you set expectations? How do you give feedback? How do you make sure that they know what they're doing well and what they're not doing well? Again, you can spend a bunch of money on really awesome systems that help you do that, or you can take an hour out of your week and do a one-on-one every week, which again takes no money. I mean, it is payroll money, but it's not out of pocket money you weren't paying anyway. And it increases retention and improves culture, improves turnover. And then getting the right people in the right seats, I would say is the last thing is, again, if you know your people and you know what they're good at and what they're not good at, it's a lot easier to get them in the right seat. And sometimes the right seat is at another company, but sometimes it is within your organization. My buddy, my friend, my cousin, my brother, whatever is helping me right now. And then you grow to the point where you're like, my husband, my buddy, my brother has no idea what they're doing anymore. And I need them to exit. And I don't know how to do that. Okay, let's talk about that. And again, that's where you got to put on the big boy or big girl britches and have that hard conversation. And it's hard, but you have to do it. You got to make a choice. Do you want to be friends with this person or do you want your business to be successful? You can do both if you can do it in a kind and respectful way.
So, Kelly, as the founder of Thrive HR, what kind of boundaries or beliefs keep your own business sustainable?
Sure. Thank you. When I started my business, I had to start to figure out what those were. And family, health, and time are the three most important things for me in my life. Like I said, I had a daughter late in life. I want to actually experience being a mother, not work all of the time. So being able to balance that and working with clients that I believe have good intentions, who are good humans, who love and accept others as they are and are willing to be honest and work hard. Because there's no easy button when it comes to people. And if there is, I'd be a bajillionaire, but there's not.
Is probably one of the hardest jobs that you could have. You had this idea, you start it, you're wearing all the hats, and then you get to a point where you got to start delegating and start hiring. And then you're like, oh, that person didn't work out, that person didn't work out, that person didn't work. So you're going through all these people to finally find a good team. You find a good team, and then something else happens.
Yes, it's never ending. I think we can all relate to that.
Definitely. And as we look at wrapping up, Kelly, I mean, we can go on and on about this conversation, but what's like one red flag that an owner should be looking for that they see in their team that could result in a major problem or something that they can observe now? Because as you mentioned, you guys put out that survey and then this happened. So what is a red flag that they can look for and start solving a problem before it really becomes a major issue?
Yeah. I mean, the easiest answer is turnover, but there's now things like quiet quitting and total lack of engagement and people staying because they need a paycheck, especially with the economy right now. So I would say turnover is number one, but if I can add a second one, it would be reduction in productivity. If you see productivity going down, but people aren't quitting, that is a huge red flag to say something is going on, whether it's people being unhappy or something's going on in their lives or there's drama going on that you don't know about. So I would say that's probably the most important thing to look at and start asking for feedback.
That retention, like the job that my husband and I both had, the retention rate, it was like 10 people in, 15 people out every single month. I mean, these people are coming in and going out, coming in and going out. We kept thinking, why? Because of the atmosphere. So you have to create that good atmosphere if you want your business to grow and continue to grow. Kelly, is there any last word you want to say to our audience? Is there anything that you have coming up? Any great adventures you have coming up? Anything that you have launching?
We are excited to just be sharing our audit process. So we want to work with small business owners and leaders who are not sure what HR is or if the team they have is adding value, and we can help you figure that out and align those business strategies. I've been doing a lot of podcasting, and I will share that we're going to be launching just a small, short series of podcasts called the Business Shit Show here shortly, where me and my buddy Joe Lieberman are going to talk about the stupid shit that business owners and leaders do, because we all do embarrassing things every once in a while, and why not laugh about it?
Right? I like it.
Yes. It's a shit show.
And where can our audience find you, Kelly? Do you have a social media place that you like them to follow you on, or a website?
So we're at www.thrivehr.kc.com, and I'm on LinkedIn /Kelly Price. So there's a lot of us, but Kelly Price Thrive HR is the best way to find me.
Kelly Price is not the singer, Kelly Price.
No, that's right. Nobody wants me to sing, unfortunately.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being on Uncensored Entrepreneurs. We appreciate you. And HR is such a huge thing. So definitely reach out to her if you have any questions at all whatsoever. If you think HR is this, reach out, ask those questions, because no question is a stupid question. So make sure you guys reach out. And we will see you guys next time on Uncensored Entrepreneur. And hopefully Robert will be back. We will see you guys next time. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. If you're getting value from the show, take a minute to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you tune in. It helps more bold entrepreneurs find us. Until next time, keep showing up, uncensored and unapologetic. And we'll catch you on the next episode.